The $11 billion quarter. Apple research and development spending just hit $11.4 billion in a single quarter. To put that in perspective, that is more than the company spent on the entire 10-year lifespan of the canceled Apple Car project. While the press is focused on Siri AI, the balance sheet tells a different story. For the first time in 30 years, R&D has surpassed 10% of total revenue. This is not a gradual shift. It is a massive capital reallocation toward the J595 Robotics initiative and the HomeOS platform. Tim Cook is essentially betting the entire hardware legacy of his final months as CEO on turning your living room into a high-margin spatial computing hub before John Ternus takes the reins in September. And the hardware powering this shift is less about robotics and more about clever inventory management, recycling the Apple Car supply chain. The rumored tabletop robotic unit is less of a leap forward and more of a parts bin exercise. Analysis of the current supply chain orders suggests the device uses the same high-torque actuators and LiDAR sensors originally sourced for Project Titan. By repurposing these components into a swiveling iPad stand, Apple is effectively recovering billions in sunk costs from its automotive failure. They are labeling this spatial intelligence, but from a P&L perspective, it is a way to move high-end M5 Pro silicon into a new category that does not rely on the slowing iPhone upgrade cycle. This allows them to maintain high average selling prices while using mature sensor technology. But the real software story isn't about Siri. It's about the consolidation of a failing product line into a single operating system. HomeOS as an Opex consolidation. The announcement of HomeOS at WWDC is a strategic admission that the HomePod and Apple TV divisions have failed to scale independently. By unifying these underperforming assets into a single software stack, Apple is streamlining its engineering overhead and forcing a hardware refresh. This is a classic defensive maneuver. Amazon and Google already own the budget smart home market, so Apple is ignoring the low end entirely to build a $2,000 robotic centerpiece. They are betting that deeper integration with Apple Intelligence will justify a price point that is 5 times the industry average. If you look at the margin targets, they aren't selling a speaker. They are selling a permanent anchor for their services revenue. And that consolidation is actually a defensive maneuver against the one thing Apple can't control: the physical floor plan of your life. The spatial data moat. Apple is not building a robotic assistant to help you clean. They are building a spatial ledger to own the physical map of your home. By combining the HomeOS platform with the J595 actuators, they are creating a device that constantly updates a three-dimensional model of your private living space. This is the ultimate defensive mode. If Apple owns the high-precision map of your interior, they own the services layer for every other device that enters it. This shift from personal devices to autonomous hardware is a direct response to the plateauing iPhone market. It transforms the home from a place where you use products into a proprietary environment where Apple manages the data flow. For investors, the success of this move will not be measured in unit sales, but in the growth of the services line item in 2027. Watch the Q4 capital expenditure report. If the tooling costs for high-precision actuators continue to climb, the robotic hardware is the only thing that can save their 2027 guidance. Subscribe for more.